9. Welcome again. It is June. It is June 11th, 2012. Monday, not Tuesday, but Monday for the episode of Learning Lead. It is L3IRD with the one, the only Jesse Neon, and you can see me. I'm on my detective cap with my detective glasses, and we're going to be trying to solve this issue that we have concurrently happening to us. I mean, I just got out of it. I'm barely at gold right now. I barely got there like 2 weeks ago, but my friend here, Justin Neon, he's pretty strong, and he's here today to talk about his issue with solo queue. And here he is, Jesse. How are you, man? How are you today?
I'm doing all right. A little bit upset over that last loss, but other than that, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, definitely. I just heard the kind of rundown and such of what happened. And we're actually going to be looking into a game of Justin Neon's. But really quickly, Jesse, can you explain like where you're at in Elo, and then where you topped out at and stuff like that?
Originally, I was a pretty consistent 1300 player. I never really hit gold, but I mean I was always above bronze. 1350-ish is where I capped out about, give or take. And then one day I had a losing streak of about 8 or 9 games, and it actually brought me down as low as I think 10. Just over 1000. I mean, I was talking like I was losing like upwards of 15 elo in games. It was ridiculous. So from there, I kind of struggled, like, a win, a loss, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, I mean, just on the numbers alone, I'd win 10 elo, lose 16, and I ended up like all the way down at 900. And then over a course of a couple weeks, I managed to get back up to 1200, and then finally up again to 1290, and I was bronze literally a week ago. And now I'm back down to 1150.
I mean, it sucks that you're down to 1150, but at least you know you can do yourself and carry yourself out of there. Really quickly as we go on, where it might seem like everyone's new in the Elo, and where everyone's kind of experienced, everything under 1250 supposedly to ride standards. The 1250 is actually your base mark where you start at. Everything under you losses and stuff, you'll be under that, and everything above, of course, you'll be above that. But everything under 1250 is supposedly the start up of a new kind of ranked person, new kind of ranked ranked player. Supposedly, once you hit level 30, you can't just go right into it and try to play it out. But it's not really suggested per se.
No, definitely not.
But like any other story, it has an ugly turn, and as the Elo turns, we'll be trying to find out if our hero, Jesse Neon, can actually get to it. But here we go. We do have the picks right here. I did save them up, and they're on the screen now. Really quickly, communication-wise during picks and bans, what do you think that really entails? Is it really important actually in the beginning, especially in low Elo per se?
Oh god, it's so important in low elo, because unfortunately so many people are like, oh, you know what, I like this champion, I'm going to play this champion no matter what. So rather than, communicate at all and make some kind of team comp, or even some kind of coordination, or even set up like, nice interesting combos, like, a kill lane of Leona and, well, just about any ranged AD carry down bot, you don't see stuff like that. You end up with like, oh, I feel like playing support Nunu, who are you going to play? And then they'll play an AD carry that actually doesn't benefit from being with Nunu, so someone doesn't really scale off attack speed or something like that. And it's just, I mean, in this game I had someone who insta-locked, literally within 3 seconds, insta-locked top as Heimerdinger, because they wanted top and they wanted Heimerdinger, and there was no communication, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's just how it was going.
I mean, it looked pretty like standard with the bans, and then when the Heimerdinger pick came out, was there any other communication from there, or everyone just kind of picked up their own kind of synergies, that kind of thing?
Well, I try and communicate as much as possible in the pick stage. Everybody should. So I said, you know what, I will take jungle. If someone else wants to jungle, that's above me in elo rating, then I will give up the position and I'll take, range AD carry or whatever. As a general rule, I don't usually give up the position that I want to play to people who are lower than me in elo. I don't know if that's selfish or not, but I think it makes sense. And, there was no communication, no response. People were just like mid, bot, AD carry, so on and so forth.
I was about to say, in elo queue, even in like the higher queues or even the lower queues, Like if you do call the position first, generally you do take it. But if you're in the higher elo bracket, I mean, it's not frowned upon technically. It might suck for a little bit, but it's not frowned upon to say, I'm going to take this spot because I am in the higher elo bracket and I can play it a little bit better. I have more confidence in playing this better. I mean, I've done that a few times where I was like second pick and I picked 80, or somebody called 80 bots on the bottom picks, but I already picked it anyway, and we still won out or we lost out. I mean, it happens, but if you do feel confident, and I've seen Jesse like jungle and he's pretty good with it, I would say yeah, definitely pick it. So you picked Skarner for your jungle pick against, I think it was Shyvana jungle. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, the reason I picked Skarner against the Shyvana is because Shyvana is so fast. Like, she clears almost as quick as Mundo. Anybody with that crazy AoE damage, like, you got to have somebody quick. I actually would have played Mundo, but our team comp didn't look to me like it was something that could have actually done well with a Mundo. I mean, Mundo has no real hard CC. He's got the cleavers, granted, but if no one has a gap closer or harder CC to apply to them after that cleaver, you're not going to do anything to them. So I thought, Skarner would be a good choice, but...
Well, Mundo was actually banned out as well, but I was about to say, Heimerdinger doesn't really have anything. I mean, Kennen with Selecting Maelstrom does have something, so at least that can work out. Tristana can rocket jump in and die if she really wanted to be that assassin AD carry, but I mean, yeah, Skarner was a really great pick. Just looking at your other picks, I mean, everything before their solo queue even starts, the game even starts, this is really, really important. Your picks are really, really important. So let's look at Julia Graves, Sona versus Tristana Soraka. Tristana Soraka has to win out early in the game to actually kind of beat up this Graves Sona, because Graves Sona will, Graves versus Tristana and Lone, Tristana actually outscales Graves better in the late game because of the passive. But Graves Sona in that mid game, while Tristana's mid game is actually pretty weak. So, if Graves Sona actually went out to mid-game and actually got ahead, it would be really unfortunate. Jax versus Heimerdinger is the top lane. Yeah, Jax can actually lose that technically if Heimerdinger actually played pretty passively and just aggressed whenever Jax would try to go for a last hit. But then again, we're talking about lower eloing and stuff like that. And also the Heimerdinger, he didn't really communicate as well. Is that right, Jesse?
No, there was no communication at all. I mean, once he picked the top, I think that was the last word he said all game.
And lastly, but not least, we have Kennen and Galio. And Galio can beat out Kennen pretty well, so, that one might have been an interesting pick against Galio. But
actually, they picked Galio before Kennen was picked.
Yeah, that's why I was going to say, like, Kennen kind of outpicked himself right over there. But we're going to start right into this game. We're going to go start. Are you watching from the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, so... To start it up again, guys, this is gonna be, sorry, let me go put this on really quickly. Episode 8 of Lennon League. It is as the Elo Turns, and it is with Jesse Neon. Okay, so really quickly, usually at the start of the game, you want to see if kind of invade, kind of put some pressure on the team. In lower Elo brackets, it's kind of hard, but I know from a Reddit post, I think, of one of the best supports in EOS right now. He was like, yeah, in lower Elo, you just have to just call for invade. Even if your team isn't ready for it, or even if your team is like supposedly worse at the invade, having an invade kind of causes miscommunication. And in solo queue, in any kind of queue actually, in any kind of team game, communication is really key. And when you're in solo queue, usually you don't have people talking. So, did you actually, try to invade, or no?
I asked if we wanted to, which is what I'm doing here, sitting so still, rather than, I usually pace back and forth. My actions per minute are usually pretty high. But in the chat, I mentioned, we could invade, and got nothing in response. But it looks like they were guarding it off anyway, so it was probably for the best that we didn't.
But even then, if they were guarding enough, like right here in this little entranceway to their blue, like usually you'll see them kind of react kind of slowly. It depends on the elo level, but usually newer players are like, oh, they don't invade. It's a friendly game, right? And then they kind of get killed. Like, you want to take those advantages in lower elo, definitely, just to kind of win the game per se, and especially for people like Jesse, especially for people that dropped from like 1400. Like, I dropped from, I think, 1339 to about 900, like Jesse as well. But taking those little small advantages of invading, just taking that little bit, can set so much momentum for you as a solo queue player, just alone. But mentally causes so much disruption for the other team, and you'll see a lot more ragers, a lot more quitters just because you did the invade and you say, oh, the invade kind of killed us all. When in actuality, even if an invade goes off, it actually can backfire on you, and you can lose a lot of experience. So, I mean, for more higher like Elo Q players after like 1500, 1600, 1700, you'll see that like an invade won't really affect them. I mean, if they die, that's fine, but I mean, if they go back to lane, get that experience, they'll be fine. But with like lower Elo right now, like 1200, 1300, 1400 Elo, 1200, you'll see that invades really hurt their psyche. We do see that you go in onto Shyvana, but Evil Moogle actually did not respond at all.
Yeah, I don't know if you had the option to focus on that fight, but I mean, once you get down, Shyvana is actually incredibly low. All he had to do was come over, throw a Thundering Shuriken. Even at this point, like I've got my blue. Even Galio comes in, pops. I think that was, I don't even know what happened there. He popped the Ignite on me. Still looking for that help, and then here's a missed Thundering Shuriken, no auto attacks. So here I end up dying. Then he obviously disengages. I mean, you don't want to do a 2v1, but had he come in when I was still fighting at the race, which I was doing for probably a solid 20 seconds, that would have been an easy kill on Shyvana, would have got her out of my jungle, would have got me so far ahead of her.
Yeah, definitely.
But nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that is something to really worry about in solo queue. I mean, you have players that are, I won't say tunnel vision, but it is tunnel vision. Like, they're just focusing on the lane, and they're focusing on the CS. And I mean, you'll see it more oftentimes than not at bottom lane, just because that is actually really key. But in mid lane, you're supposed to kind of have that vision to kind of roam around. We do see Evil Moogle try to go around, gonna go right to Shyvana and Ignite and do stuff, and get a kill. That's decent.
He's actually about to chase all the way up to top, because he's apparently willing to dedicate this much of his time to get a kill, but not enough to help.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was trying to make up for it, but that wasn't really the smartest idea. I mean, luckily for now, like, he didn't get to pay for it, because, Galio should have said, oh, dude, Cannon's me, you should just go back and kind of back off. But Galio didn't even do that. He just kind of farmed up, which is actually the smart idea. Like, there wasn't really any need to actually respond, but Shyvana should have just backed off and got away from it. Really quickly as well, we're going to see this little bit top lane. We have Heimerdinger versus the Jax. Jax starting out with Empower first really quickly. That's really interesting to see, other than Leap Strike. And then we have the turrets kind of ranking up for this Lorata Orakurak. I mean, started off with a decent item, Doran's Ring. I mean, this is only one of those characters where I say you have to get Doran's Ring to start off, just because you have mana problems, as well as you spam a lot of skills. So, I mean, you don't have the escapability as anything, so, I mean, that sucks, but, having that mana ring / Doran's Ring, it'll help you out, just resustain, right? The only problem is I have a really big problem with Exhaust. Exhaust is totally not needed for Heimerdinger. Exhaust can be useful per se to shred armor, to slow down a target, but you already have that in your kit. You already have a slow with E-Grenade. You already have damage output or reduction pretty much just from, I think, upgrade, as well as just other things. I totally don't agree with the Exhaust. If I was going to play Heimerdinger, I would have probably just did the whole, stand in thing, go slash, and and everywhere. But then again, that's playing middle, not top. And top Heimerdinger is really interesting, just really interesting as well. Bottom lane, we're going to look at really quickly. We have Graves, Sono, Triss, Soraka, and Triss started Doran's Blade. What do you think about that first, and then I'll kind of intercede. Wow, there's a game going out at the top, and Heimerdinger not having a escape spell is going to die.
Yeah, he does die a lot. You know what, I would not have recommended it. Boots and Pots is pretty much a standard item for your AD carries. There are certain champions, I mean, if you really want to get that bonus damage, sure, go for it. There was actually no communication there. He had no idea that Galio was Mia. Regardless, he was dead with just the two of them anyway. The fact that Galio was there was just an extra gold for their team across the board. I think we're actually about to watch Tristana die very shortly, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did dive, and Jesse is kind of going around and tried to get for Dink, but he didn't really do anything. What was the decision making behind that?
Well, here, like, literally, I don't know if you can see the creep score, but Tristana's already almost 30 creeps behind. So I came down here literally just to scare them off, to hopefully try and give Tristana a chance to farm up a bit, which, I mean, she did. There's, a couple extra creeps there, while Graves didn't get a chance to get very many. But I had to come back within a few minutes, which is just crippling my jungle time, crippling me, getting me crazy underleveled. I think Kennen dies here.
Right.
Yeah, he goes back in out of greed and dies.
Yeah.
Had he just tried to kite, I mean, he probably could have caught Shyvana with a Thundering Shuriken on the way out and still made it out of there, but he decided not to do that.
Yeah, he kind of went all the way in and said, you know, let's go in and kind of get the kill, and didn't work. But keep on. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, like I came in, like I said, I mean, I did not intend to gank at all. There was no way I was in the right position. Here, I think I am back again. Same thing again, just trying to chase them off, like trying to get Tristan out of that farm. She's down easily by 30 at this point in time.
41 to 60. Does try to go for a rocket jump. There's a flash in. Wow, from Soraka. Soraka's trying to do some major stuff. But hi, my name is Simon. Just gonna get a flash out. Okay, so then you gotta pick off two things really quickly. One, I was gonna talk about the Graves Sona matchup. Graves is at level 6. Tristan is at level 5 right now. Graves is getting that little bit of advantage right now, and once that little bit of advantage actually stays in, it really locks in and kind of gets the kills. I mean, we do see the dive over bot. I hope nothing really happens with it because they're pretty close to tower, so they're not really diveable right now, but they probably have to back off. Really quickly, we did talk about the invades, we did talk about that. What to do if someone picks a non-usual pick or unusual pick. I mean, the Heimerdinger is a very unusual pick. Usually what I would suggest is, I mean, if you're the jungler, which Jesse is, try to camp out lane just so that they can get advantage so they can skyrocket. I mean, it depends on the pick as well. It could be a tank like Leona top or a Taric top, and then you just have to let it be. But like with a Heimerdinger, you probably want to help out that carry and kind of push up. But that also, you know, remains focused at bottom, which actually needs probably the most help. And I think that's what you mostly focus on. Is that right, Jesse?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I knew Heimer was like not doing well from the start. Like you said, Doran's Ring is a good item choice, but rather than take any kind of sustain up there, or even, which I would have done, because he was getting out-farmed really hard by Jaxes, I would have grabbed, you know, a Phosphorus Stone, or even a Heart of Gold, or worst case scenario, if you really need that ability power, or you feel you need that ability power, Akage's Lucky Pick. But instead of doing this, he decides to spend his next, I think 1,100 gold on Sork's boots.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he is pretty behind, 23 to 49 right now. I mean, Jax, all he has to do is just build up that magic resist, and that's what he's doing right now. And Grace is building damage, which is really, you know, usual. Really quickly, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna pause per se, but I'm just gonna go say, you know, right now what purple team's doing, I mean, it's a regular solo queue game. Like, top is just kind of interacting with top. Jungle is kind of interacting, and, you know, middle is kind of responding, or top's kind of responding. Wow, great collateral damage. And bottom's just, you know, push it up and, you know, relieving pressure so that Shyvana can actually counter jungle. Something that you want to see in this communication is that, you know, everyone's kind of working together, while on blue team, on Jesse's team sadly, you know, they're kind of doing their own thing. You know, Loretta is actually going up to top, going in the middle, saying hi to Gallia while Jax is pushing the lane. Like, I think you said that before. Kennen kind of just, you know, farming, but didn't respond to this level 2 gank. And it's really hard if you're a player in League of Legends in general. When you don't have communication, when you don't have that communication, it really sets a tone where, you know, you don't kind of want to play. I think 3 or 4 times in this like session where I was at like a 1,000 elo, I was like, dude, this is impossible. I started building a new Smurf account just so that I can get to level 30 and just try again at 1250. We do see a gank going off over here, but nothing really happening. I'm not trying to shoutcast this, my bad. But yeah, like there are times where you get this like regularly, and you get streaks of this regularly, where you just have a team that just kind of like doesn't communicate. It doesn't do anything at all. And it really is frustrating. And I've been in Jesse's shoes I've been in a lot of players' shoes where they have to climb up, and I'm just lucky that I'm here where I'm at right now. But you know, for Jesse, I mean, there are some other things we can kind of pick upon. But you know, what else do you feel about this Elo, Jesse? Just really quickly so we can vet this out.
It's awful. It's awful. But yeah, lack of communication is probably one of the biggest ones. If you notice, I mean, Soraka is a support character. She doesn't buy any wards. Like, map coverage is so important.
knowing your character is crazy important. I mean, like, the more familiar you are with a character, whether or not they're viable, the more you're going to know what your limits are, what you can actually do, knowing, when to leave your lane. Like right now, this Heimerdinger coming down here to let Jax just kind of, free push on his turret, only to realize, oh wait, I can't catch Galio, and then turn back. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, like if you're not going to pick, let's say, typical support champs, or sorry, typical any champs, I should say, that's fine. Just get to know your character really well. Know what you can do, know what to build, know what's viable, at least on your character, whether or not you're terribly viable yourself. Here I am trying to save Heimerdinger. I think we kill him here. Actually, yes, we do. Heimerdinger does not use his stun grenade once, so I have to flash in to kill him.
No, he did, but he kind of missed it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what I mean by that is, during this entire game, he doesn't land one.
Oh man, it's so tough. I mean, I think another thing I learned after a while was, you have to find your best role, which you can carry on, and you can hyper carry on. I think I went on a streak where I was like 10-0 with Sivir, just because, it's a low elo, and Sivir was actually still powerful back then. That really changed the game, per se. So, having those kind of, like, ace in the hole picks, I'm not talking about Caitlyn's ultimate, but, just like these ace in the hole picks, like, Jesse Skarner, I think you're still, like, what, above 60% on win rate with him?
I think I'm still at 80%. Let me pull my match history real quick. Or, sorry, rank stats, I should say. I should still be at 80% win rate out of, I think, 15 games.
Not bad.
Yeah. I'm actually down to 70, unfortunately, but my per game averages are still 6 kills, 2 deaths, 8 assists.
Yeah, that's totally not bad, and just having those kind of picks, that will just kind of lead you in. Like, usually in every kind of game period, it is all about going 50-50 pretty much. You have those streaks where you go really hot, or you have those streaks where you go really cold. But usually the game will even out to be 50-50. Like, that's what StarCraft is. That's what most, like, chess games are. You just kind of just even out. Or if you have the higher advantage, you have the higher advantage. But once you hit that mark where you go 50-50, you kind of hit your limit into where you can plateau in your elo or where you can plateau in your gameplay. So...
My desperation pick is Scion. 21 wins, 8 losses in ranked.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one, too. I was about to say, when you're on that streak, I think AttackFan has said it before. I think a lot of people have said it before. Just keep on riding it. Hopefully, you just kind of ruin it and you can win it out. Other thing is, if you're on a bad streak, if you're on a cold streak, if you lost already 2 per day, I mean, just kind of take a break. Just let it go, take a break, and get off of it. Or take a break for a little bit, like do some push-ups, do something to actively let your mind rethink about stuff and just revitalize, because a lot of this game, for at least a solo queue, is to really like think about your own play and think about what you can do and think what you can improve on, or what you can do to actually carry out games a lot easier, per se. I'm going to go pause it right here because we do see the timer is about to go out. I'm going to go to the second part of this. Do you have any other questions, like, for the beginning, or do you have any other, like, notes to jot down about the beginning of, like, the game, /picks, /lane, anything like that, Jesse?
Not really. I mean, Tristana said she was new to Tristana. Heimerdinger had no communication. If you're going to play a ranked game, for the love of God, don't play a champion that you're brand new with. It just does not work. You don't know what the character does. Like, I guess once again, the big thing would be familiar with the character you're going to be playing. Play a dozen normal games for every ranked game or something.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. And we're about to be taking a break. Again, guys, this is episode 8 as the Elo Turns. It is Elo with Jesse Nia, and we will be right back.